If they do move forward with tariffs, our response will be robust and rapid and measured, but very strong. The goal will be to get those tariffs off as quickly as possible. And in order to do that, everything is on the table.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm just going to come out and say it. We are about to be in a trade war with America. Last night, after Trump's inauguration, he was signing executive orders, and he said that February 1st, Canada and Mexico are going to be subject to 25% tariffs. Now, this is because we've all been waiting for any sort of praise, any sort of acknowledgement of the work that Canada, and I don't really care about Mexico, but Canada's been doing at the border. And what's our parameters? Well, I can't really sit here and say this is exactly what our federal government has been doing, because I don't really fucking know. I'll be honest with you. I can't tell you we've sent more people, we've increased our resources. I have no idea. I'm not going to lie to you. I have no idea. I don't even know if you know. I don't know if anybody knows at this point. And so Trump's response was nothing until the end of the inauguration when he was signing executive orders in the Oval Office. And now we're in panic mode. We are in absolute panic mode. So there's two options that I see. There's do what Trump says, which benefits our country first. And then also it would, be nice for him. He'd be like, okay, cool. Or get into the trade war. Now, I don't agree with getting into a trade war. I don't agree with even entertaining the idea of getting into a trade war right now. What I personally think Canada should be doing is focusing on doing those things that Trump said. I've said this on X. In fact, I'm going to pull it up and read you exactly what I said yesterday. Okay, because I think that this is probably the worst idea that we could be doing. Here you go. This seemed to be quite a bit of a popular idea. 94,000 views on X. Canada should not fight back with a trade war. Canada should be focusing on the things that Trump said we should. Want to know why? Because it benefits Canada. If we fix those things and he still wants a 25% tariffs on, then we'll talk about fighting back. Until then, let's fix our shit. And as per the top comment here, at the time, it really seems like I had a lot of likes, 5.6 thousand likes, and only 94,000 views. I think that that's actually like a bit of a weird ratio. It's like a very high amount of likes and not that many amount of views. So I don't know what's going on exactly with there. But let me know down in the comments right now if you agree with that or if you disagree and why. Look, I'm pro-America. I like Trump, but I'm pro-Canada first. I like Canada more than I like America. I like the Conservative Party more than I like the Republican Party. I love our land. I love our people. I love what we have here. I don't want to be annexed. I don't want to be the 51st state. And I certainly don't want 25% tariffs slapped on us. And I certainly don't want us to retaliate. But Justin Trudeau thinks otherwise. Justin Trudeau, what we're going to take a look at right now, is standing there on a pixelated video, which was probably filmed on a freaking potato, for crying out loud. Like, I have no idea. This isn't my internet connection. Look at this. What the hell is this? Are we back in like 1999? What the hell is that? But we're going to take a look at this video and we're going to see what Justin Trudeau's justification is for everything on the table in tariff response. Because this is a huge breaking news. This is the precursor to a potential trade war with America starting February 1st. Let's get right into it. But not before I ask you guys to drop a like and subscribe to this channel. I really would appreciate that. Here we go.
Good morning, Prime Minister. Laura Osmond with The Logic. How do you interpret the conflicting timelines that the Trump administration provided yesterday, targeting a study by April 1st, but talking about imposing tariffs by February?
Donald Trump is, as always, a skilled negotiator and will do what he can to keep his negotiating partners a little bit off balance. We are confident in the facts on the ground. We know that if the United States is going to see an increase in jobs, manufacturing, and economic growth, they're going to require more energy, more inputs, everything from lumber and concrete to steel and aluminum to critical minerals that are the essential ingredients in the economy of the future. And Canada has all that in an extraordinarily reliable and close partner. We have lots we can do together. We will be there to emphasize that we should be doing more together. If there are tariffs, we are ready to respond and defend the Canadian interest, but we will continue to remain steady in these times of uncertainty.
Donald Trump could continue to dangle these threats over Canada for many months, and even that will have an impact on investment here in Canada. How do you guard against that in the meantime?
We have and will continue to demonstrate that Canada is a reliable and strong partner and a great place to invest. Canadian workers are world-class. Canadian resources are needed in Canada and around the world. Canadian ingenuity and innovation is a key part of building a global economy of the future. We know there are lots of people continuing to be interested in being part of the Canadian economy's tremendous success.
We're not as strong as he thinks we are in terms of if our initial response, I don't mean you and me, I just mean our politicians, our political landscape is instead of somebody telling, okay, look, I was having a conversation with my mom about this the other day and I was trying to explain this. She's like, do you support Trump? And I was like, I like Trump. I don't like these tariff threats, but let me explain it to you, Mom. And now let me explain it to you viewers how I explained it to my mom the other day, which isn't to be condescending at all. But if you want to skip through this, feel free to do so. Imagine you live in a strata, okay? You pay the HOA fees, you pay the strata fees, $200 a month. People come in, they mow your lawn, everything is standardized, okay? Yeah, it's a bit of a posh situation, but just hear me out. You live in a strata, okay? There's rules to the strata. You can't have 5 vehicles because it's not going to fit in your driveway in your garage, and then there is overflow parking. You can't put a hot tub on the side of your house because that's not what the strata allows you. Maybe there's dog restrictions, pet restrictions. Okay, there's certain fees. Some people like this, some people don't. Just bear with me. Now all of a sudden you're a part of the strata and you're bringing over gangbangers. You're bringing over people that are illegally carrying weapons in Canada, illegal firearms. You're bringing over people that are littering in the streets of where you live. You're bringing over people that are putting graffiti on your neighbors' houses, okay, that are passed out in the middle of the street, that are passed out in your neighbor's yard. All of a sudden, the strata says, hey, man, or woman, because there's only 2 genders now, according to Trump. Hey, man or woman, we see what's happening. And if you don't stop this, we're going to have to fine you. We're going to have to increase your strata fee because that's not okay. We're going to fine you. And if your initial response is, you can't do that, I'm going to sue you and the strata, that's not an appropriate response. The appropriate response would be, oh man, I'm acting like a bit of a degenerate. Let me clean this up because you're right. Or let me go somewhere else. But in this case, Canada can't just go somewhere else, so we have no other choice but to clean this up. Justin Trudeau's caused a mess at the border. We have criminals. We have ISIS members. Like, hello, people left and right of me. Hello. Isn't that a little freaking concerning? We have people from ISIS, dude. We fought ISIS, and now they're coming here like, hey, nothing to see. I'm just entering Canada. They're in beheading videos. Like, what the hell is the logic? That's concerning. One of them is too many. And they're coming over in the dozens. There's hundreds or thousands of them. And our response is, oh, we're going to fight America back because they don't like our woke progressiveness. That's ridiculous. That's mental. That's mentally ill for Trudeau to say that. We should be focusing on fixing our shit so we don't get those strata fee increases, so we don't get those tariff increase. Right? 25%. That's insane. It benefits you and me. It benefits Canada. But he's like, no. We're not going to benefit Canada. We're certainly not going to benefit America. We're going to now get into a trade war. For freaking crying out loud, man. That's a response of our prime minister. That's mentally ill. You should be immediately ejected and sent off on a raft into the middle of the ocean for that type of answer. That's insane.
Border issues are an issue for Americans, but also for Canadians. We know that whether it's illegal guns or a range of illegal drugs flowing northwards across that border, whether it's migration or potential migration going in either ways in irregular fashions across our border, it is in the interest of Canadians as well as Americans that we continue to step up on reinforcing our border measures and the integrity and the control that we have. That's why we have been investing in protecting our borders over the past number of months and years, and why this $1 billion package is, yes, about the American incoming administration, but it's also about Canadians being safe in a more uncertain world.
Prime Minister Ryan Hamilton, Toronto Star. You said earlier that everything is on the table. I assume that includes fully matching the 25% tariffs the Trump administration is proposing. How quickly do you think the Canadian government could ramp that up? And if you do have to take that measure, isn't it Canadian consumers who will feel the brunt of that?
First of all, as I said, everything is on the table, and I support the principle of dollar-for-dollar matching tariffs. It's something that we are absolutely going to be looking at if that is how they move forward. The bottom line, as you say, is that import tariffs, like the 25% that President Trump is proposing, are actually paid or would be paid by American consumers. And if and when Canada needs to respond with equivalent tariffs on imports from the United States, those would be paid by Canadian consumers. That's why we will look, as we have in the past, at things that have replacements for Canadian consumers that wouldn't be tariffed. The example from last time was Heinz's ketchup being replaced by French's ketchup, because French's was still using Canadian tomatoes in its ketchup. Having Canadian consumers have alternatives to having to spend tariffs on American inputs is part of how we make sure that we don't bear, or Canadians don't bear, undue costs around tariffs. At the same time, there will be costs for Canadians if we move forward on tariffs to the United States, and that's why we will be there to support and compensate Canadians and Canadian businesses depending on the response we have. The principle is that we will be there to support Canadians, and Canadians will be there to support each other during any difficult times of tariffs.
I'm seeing our country crumble in front of my eyes, man. I got kids. I have kids. I don't know how long it's going to take to reverse these things. I got a 2-year-old daughter and like a 6 or 7 month old son. And I'm just, I'm not saying I want to cry, but like inside, you know what I'm saying? Not to sound like too emotional, but inside I'm just heartbroken. This breaks my heart to see the initial. Am I fucking nuts? Am I on the wrong side here? Because this makes me feel like I'm cuckoo, like I'm a right-wing extremist that's like, no, our immediate answer should be to fight back with tariffs. Like, I question myself sometimes because I see our prime minister and his band of liberal misfits, and it's like, are they this dumb? Am I that actually smarter than them, or am I missing something? Am I missing something? I'm not necessarily seeking for your validation right now, but yeah, maybe kinda. Like, are you agreeing with me, or are you agreeing with Trudeau, or some middle ground? Like, I don't know, but I feel like I'm nuts sometimes when I watch these people talk.
How can your government manage a situation where your closest ally and trading partner says at 9 a.m. that tariffs will come maybe after a study in 3 months, and at 9 p.m. says they're coming in a week? How do you manage that unpredictability?
We've been here before. During President Trump's first term in office, he announced challenges to our trading relationship that we were able to work through. We negotiated a new Canada, U.S., Mexico trade deal that has resulted in tremendous growth and prosperity for all 3 countries. It was a true win-win-win, and I note that the incoming administration highlighted that was a successful win for them that they negotiated in their first term. We will stay steady. We will stay steady on focusing on defending both Canadian interests, but also on defending the economic relationship between Canada and the U.S. itself. We know that a win-win or a win-win-win is not just possible, it is desirable. And our focus is remaining calm, remaining strong, and responding as necessary to actions by the United States.
Hi, Prime Minister Tom Perry, CBC. I know we've been here before.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm at a loss for words here, folks. I'm at a loss for words. We're literally watching some schmuck who committed to resigning. Oh no, les papiers, he says as he walks up to the podium. I, Justin Trudeau, am not a quitter, but I'm here to announce my resignation, he then says. This fucktard is getting into a trade war as he's leaving. He shouldn't have the power to do anything. He's resigning. He shouldn't have the power to do anything. You should just be gone. I would rather have no prime minister than have this guy right now. I'd rather Canada be in a total state of panic and not have any prime minister. Who's leading? Who has the nuclear codes? Oh wait, we don't have any nuclear weapons. Who has the keys to the jet? Who has everything? Who has the keys to Parliament? Nobody does? Well, I guess we got to have an election. I would rather that. In theory, I don't actually know what that would look like, or if that's even possible. But I'd rather that, in theory, than have this guy run our country for the next couple of months before they replace him.
You've been here before, but do you think it's more challenging this time around? I'm wondering if you think there's a difference between the second Trump administration and the first one.
I think what we've seen, particularly with the number of executive orders and announcements made on the first day, that they have been focused on moving forward rapidly on creating benefits for the American economy in the extreme short term. That is something that we are prepared to help with and contribute to. If the American economy is going to need more energy, more inputs for its manufacturing, more security in its partnerships, Canada is there to provide that. We know that there is always going to be a certain amount of unpredictability and rhetoric coming out from this administration. Our focus is on the substance of things, where Canada and the U.S. do well when we do things together. Je pense qu'on a déjà vu que
we do things well when we do them together. But hey, we're going to attack you for you telling us that we need to fix our shit to better our country and our people. That logic makes absolutely no sense.
Have you requested a conversation with Donald Trump? Is anything scheduled, or is there any kind of official interaction between your government and the U.S. to figure out what's actually going on tariffs?
We had a number of ministers down there for the inauguration day yesterday, continued to engage with all counterparts. I speak regularly with President Trump, and will continue to, as in regards to next formal interactions. We'll stay tuned.
Hi, Mr. Trudeau. Mackenzie Gray with Global News. We've seen some from the premiers that they think it's somewhat inevitable that tariffs are coming in. So after the first day of Mr. Trump's administration, do you think that there's any possible way that Canada can avoid these 25% tariffs?
Our focus is on avoiding tariffs. We know that if the American economy is going to face see the boom that Donald Trump is predicting, they're going to need more energy. They're going to need more steel and aluminum, more critical minerals, more of the things that Canada sells to the United States every single day. And we are there to be constructive, positive partners. So our entire focus is on avoiding the imposition of tariffs on Canada. If they do move forward with tariffs, our response will be robust and rapid and measured, but very strong. The goal will be to get those tariffs off as quickly as possible. And in order to do that, everything is on the table. If we do move forward with that, we will be there to support Canadian businesses, Canadian industry. It'll be something that all Canadians will pull together on, and we will make sure that no one industry or part of the country is carrying a larger share of the burden of trying to get these tariffs removed than any other region or industry.
Yesterday, Mr. Lee said it was all about the border and we did the job on the border. If that's the case, then why is there still a situation where tariffs are even being considered by the U.S.?
That's a question for the American administration.
Prime Minister Brian Platt with Bloomberg.
It was asked about her. She's the freaking problem and an instigator back here. And he's like defending her because it's his mistress, or was his mistress when he was married. Give me a break.
Donald Trump had promised to put in tariffs on day one of his presidency. In the lead up, he used a lot of aggressive rhetoric about economic force. What actually got put onto paper is a much more legalistic, gradual process of study. When you see what's put onto paper as opposed to his rhetoric, are you personally encouraged or relieved by what actually got put down in an executive order?
As I said, we are confident on the facts on the ground. Canada provides many of the necessary inputs that the American economy is going to need in order to grow and boom economically, whether it's energy, whether it's critical minerals, whether it's fertilizer, whether it's uranium. These are things that Canada provides from nearby, affordably, securely, reliably, particularly when alternatives are more of the same things from China or Russia or Venezuela or elsewhere around the world. We are confident that the facts bear out that this is a win-win relationship. We look forward to working with the American administration to demonstrate that not only do we do things well now, we should be doing more together to strengthen North America's competitiveness, to create true win-wins across the border, and to continue to compete successfully with the world.
Prime Minister Mike Couture with CTV News. You talked about how many of your ministers behind you made those trips to the U.S. How frustrated are you personally that despite all of those efforts, we're still here?
We've been here before, Mike. The first Trump presidency represented moments of uncertainty and threats of instability that we were able to work through constructively, responsibly, for the benefit of workers, businesses, and growth on both sides of the border. We will continue to take seriously the proposals put forward by the president and his administration, but we will also continue to remain steady and strong in advocating not just for Canadian interests, but for this incredibly successful trading relationship that benefits both American workers and Canadian workers and can do even more together.
You had mentioned earlier that you're going to continue to try and make the case that Canada is the right place to invest. Businesses prefer certainty. They look south and they say, well, we know what we're going to get down there. So how do you convince businesses that Canada is still the place to be?
I would suggest that
No, bro, that's not how long you're supposed to take. That's not the right amount of response or the right amount of pause you're supposed to take on that. Oh, that's not a good look.
part of Donald Trump's approach does bring in uncertainty, whether he's going to move forward on tariffs on their closing trading partners or not. I think businesses look for, and investors look for reliability and predictability, yes. And Canada has demonstrated both through a successful negotiation of the USMCA in the first term and through continued deepening of trade ties and prosperity across our border, that Canada remains a strong and stable place to invest, because we will always be a robust and successful partner to the U.S. economy.
This will be the last question. Dernière question, s'il vous plaît. Guillaume Saint-Pierre, Journal de Montréal. Bonjour, Monsieur Trudeau. Sans
morning,
m'éclate,
Mr.
les
Trudeau.
tarifs, c'est des arbres.
Look, my opinion stands firm on this. We should not be focusing on retaliatory response until we've completed those things that are being asked of us. Not because we should be bending at the knee for anything that Donald Trump says, because there's a legitimate problem there, and it not only benefits them, but it more so benefits us. It's our country. He's saying no to doing things in our country that help our people. Are you freaking insane? We should be focusing on that first, and then if we do all those things, and Trump's response is, well, I really like how much Canada's paying us. We're going to keep the tariffs. We're making billions of dollars. We're making America great again. If that's his response, then yes, retaliatory response is indeed appropriate. But until then, I don't think that this is the way forward. That's my opinion, folks. I would absolutely love to know yours. Hope you enjoyed the video. Drop a like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in another one. Bye for now.